So today I wanted to talk to you about some very, very powerful nutritional supplements that you can get that are very, very helpful for maintaining a balanced mental and emotional mind state and providing your body and your nervous system with all the nutrients that it could ever use and ever need, and also can help people out in amazing ways that have been diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, depression, psychoses, anything like that. Um, these have been very, very well tested and tried over many, many, many years, and many people who were diagnosed with a lot of those symptoms uh, ended up basically, well, they got over all of them using these multivitamins, these nutritional supplements, and they ended up getting off of their SSRIs. They ended up getting off of like lithium and all these pharmaceutical drugs and transitioned off onto these right here: True Hope and Power Plus. Now, there's a few different versions of them they have on their website. Um, they have an advanced formula, which is fairly new. They call it the new technology Apex Biosynthesis. It's like the cutting edge of their processing of these beautiful, beautiful nutrients. And they're all natural. It's all vitamins and minerals and other things in there. Iodine. There is all kinds of stuff. It's like a full multivitamin, but there's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot of nutrients in there, but they're very, very well developed so that your body can assimilate everything and bring them all in a way so that it basically bypasses your digestion system and it goes right directly into your bloodstream in micronized form. So all these nutrients are very tiny, and they're able to get directly into your brain and into your body wherever they need. And that's the difference between these and many other, one of the differences anyway, I believe, between these and other multivitamins you can find anywhere else, really. They have all the nutrients you could ever need too, but they're not in a form that your body can absorb. They're not really well made that way, so your body ends up excreting most of it, and you don't really take it in. You don't really get any serious benefits. It may help to a degree, but it's not as good as these. These are like the best in the world. There's nothing like them. And I'm serious when I say that. Like, people who have any kind of mental illness or been diagnosed by the medical industry um, with that label or whatever, they found by taking nutrients in a micronized form, as these vitamins are made, actually reversed and perfectly treated their schizophrenia, their bipolar, their anxiety issues, their social anxieties, their ADHD, ADD, all these other things, even autism. Anyone who had any mental retardation or mental illness of any kind that didn't allow them to function, and they may have had to live in, with caretakers or facilities or psych wards or wherever, they can take these and actually it can reverse them, and it can turn them back into productive human beings that are able to assimilate into society and live a long, healthy life. And I know a lot of Kundalini people are often, or not a lot, maybe, I don't know how many, but I've heard from other teachers that many Kundalini people who have the Kundalini are going through their awakening stages have a lot of phenomenon that are going on, and they are often diagnosed with like schizophrenia, with tendency towards bipolar, etc., things like that. And many of them have had a lot of difficulties in childhood growing up, and they may have a lot of emotional and mental abuses and things that happened to them growing up from the karmic balancing and refinements and things that have been going on their whole life. So so they may have lived in an environment and all that where they may have been neglected and have a lot of issues and things like that. And by empowering yourself with with very, very powerful nutrients and nutritional supplement, you can really boost your body and give it everything, your mind, your nervous system, give it everything you need in order to be able to deal with a lot of situations and a lot of circumstances that you may not have been able to deal with as easily in this lifetime. And I've tried it. I've used it for the last 14 years, on and off a few times. And every time I've used them, they've really, really enhanced my life, my sense of well-being, my ability to focus and concentrate, remove most of my anxieties, if not all of it, and my depression. Everything went away, all of it. It may not take away your spiritual gifts and things. It's not designed to numb you or drug you up or comatose you or turn you into a zombie or tranquilize you. It's designed to provide your body and mind with everything it needs. So, you're not going to be deprived of your gifts and your sacred skills and your visions, things that you can see normally. It may actually help you with a lot of entity problems and other things like that. It's possible that can really help with that. If it can help a schizophrenic to not be schizophrenic anymore, I mean, imagine what it could do for a Kundalini person. It might actually really reverse a lot of the difficulties. I mean, Kundalini awakened people often, I think, are very sensitive, and they have so much energy going through them, and it's cleansing them and healing them and going through them and purging them and helping them with their karma and a lot of different things, I guess, was often what happens. So by having the right amount of nutrients and the right amount of nutritional support, you can really, really, really greatly enhance your experience and give your body and mind everything it could ever need to function as optimally as it possibly can. And that can really, really help with certain circumstances. And anyone, really. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have it or not, if you have the divine Kundalini awakened within you or not. If it's in a dormant state, you could just be having a normal life, and you're feeling you're sad, sometimes you're depressed, sometimes you're having difficulty at work or school or whatever. Any kind of nutritional supplement like this, will really enhance your life, enhance your overall sense of well-being, and it's something that I've seen change lives myself. My sister-in-law has been taking these for 8 years or more, or 10 years or something like that, and since she's been taking them, all of her issues disappeared. She had a lot of different problems, and she had a lot of emotional and mental issues that just disappeared. They went away, and she's able, ever since then, with these vitamins, to accomplish what she wanted. And in her 40s, she decided to become a nurse. Later in her life, when she's like 43, 44, 45, she said, I'm going to become a nurse. And she went to school, she went to college, she got everything done, even later than most people, and she's very well accomplished, and she's got a job, and she's able to deal with life very well, and she's very emotionally and mentally sound and stable and all that, and I saw how it worked for her. And so yeah, and I know it worked for me many times. Used it during and before my awakening, and it really helped me in both circumstances. So yeah, please keep that in mind, and do the research and look into these and check them out on YouTube. There's documentaries and endless testimonies from people who've had the worst depression and suicidal tendencies, anxiety, schizophrenia, you name it, everything. And they all take this stuff, and they've been treated and cured from everything. It's not like you take it and it's a magic cure. You do need to keep taking it if you're having serious issues, and if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, you only get so much. I recommend you slowly taper off on them, because you go like you do the full dose, and if you got only a month, you've done it for 4 or 5 months, and you only got a month left, cut that in half, and then for the last 5 weeks, even cut it in half again, and just keep tapering it down slowly, so you don't have any of the issues. You don't notice the problems, if there were any anyway, as much, because you're just slowly going back down into that area where you don't have the same amount of nutrients. It can be like that, and that's the thing. It costs money. You got to get it. You got to take it. You got to make sure you maintain that if you want to keep that way. But you can find ways to do that. There's always a way. The divine will help you find a way. And if you use like the tools and techniques I gave you in these other videos, you can manifest that through your mantras. You can you can find a way to get anything happening for you, especially if it has to do with your health and things like this. It's so important. So I think that is the main thing I recommend for most people. This True Hope multivitamin is incredibly powerful, and it can give you what you need for your mind and your body and everything to function optimally, no matter what you're going through. There may be other things that might hold you down, though, like if you're not doing enough selfless service, if you're not getting out and loving people and allowing that energy to move and flow in ways that the divine appreciates or would want from you. That can also be an issue. I find doing things like this video, like these videos, just putting one up online, can really, really, really balance out and make my life a lot more peaceful. So keep that in mind too. Things like that might end up helping you a lot. And yeah, there's a few other things I'll mention right now in brief, I guess. And there's 2 or 3 items I guess I'll mention. And before I do that, I'll mention one last thing. If you want to check out these multivitamins, go to truehope.com and check out the story of the man who created them. Go on YouTube, watch his documentaries, his speeches. There's like an hour long plus speech on there from him directly. And if you can find that one, check it out. He'll tell you all about it, and it's pretty amazing. So, the other thing I recommend is the use of nootropics, which are cognitive enhancing herbs, drugs. Could be derived from plants, or could be synthesized in a lab as well. And they're very, very safe to take. They're not like any other drugs. They're very inexpensive. They're non-patentable. So no big government organization or agency has any real say over the cost of them or anything like that, but they sometimes regulate them to a certain degree. And there's about 4 of them I've tried over the years, and they're very, very powerful, and they can help people amazingly to heal from any damage done through the use of SSRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitors, any kind of doctor-prescribed medication that has caused you many issues, or chemical imbalances or changes in your neurochemistry. Nootropics can really, really bring your brain back into a natural harmony and balance, and your neurochemistry back the way it should have been or should be naturally. It can really enhance that process. And there's many other things it can do too. A lot of them are different. They all have slightly different effects. And there's many, many, many of them out there. And there's 4 of them I've tried and I highly recommend. And the first one would be piracetam. And that one is a very powerful cognitive enhancer, memory enhancer. It helps to reverse the damage done by severe alcoholism or any form of alcoholism. It can actually fix the cells in your brain, and fix the neurological parts of your brain that have been harmed or damaged through excessive use of alcohol. And so if you yourself or anyone in your family or anyone you know, friends or whoever, have that problem, have had alcoholism or whatever, you can use that, and you can actually heal your brain. You can heal up your neurochemistry from any of the damage that has caused. And there's a few others. There's Nupept, which is much like piracetam, except it's 1,000 times more powerful than piracetam. And it has way more effects, and it's way more intense. And you can get that online. You can get like a 2.5 year supply for $30 US dollars. It's amazingly cheap. And it has similar effects as piracetam. It enhances your memory. Stimulates acetylcholine in the brain, which is responsible for thought, recall, memory, etc., concentration even. And you need to stack that with another precursor to acetylcholine, which is like alpha GPC powder. We call that stacking in the nootropic world. And you take a bit of NuPep, you take a bit of alpha GPC, and then your brain is provided with all the acetylcholine it needs in order for it to function optimally. Otherwise, you can get headaches because your brain is like searching for that. It needs that a little bit more, and it goes through. And the NuPep can do the same thing. Actually, even if you're drunk, let's say you're an alcoholic or whatever, and you drank like 30 beer. And typically, or 40, let's say, and typically you'd get really, really drunk. You wouldn't be able to think clearly. You wouldn't be able to see clearly. You wouldn't be able to walk very well. You'd be all over the place. Well, if you take enough NuPept at that point in that peak, pretty much all of that can just like disappear in an instant. Within 15, 20 minutes, you're like, why did I even take that NuPept here? I'm like sober again. That sucks. Or maybe it's the other way around. You're going to be thinking, why am I even drinking? This is not cool. I feel so sick right now. I can feel what it did to my body and my liver. I'm not even drunk anymore. It can do that. The other things it can repair is like damage due to, like I say, SSRIs, any amphetamines or stimulants or things like cocaine, meth, MDMA, MMDA, psychedelics, maybe even any kind of dirty drugs that you might have ever tried, or if you know anyone who's into that kind of stuff. The NuPep can actually repair any neurological dysfunction that can result of a misuse or overdose or anything like that of any of those kind of drugs. And I had a friend a couple years ago who was on ecstasy or MDMA at a music festival and a few other things. He was drinking all sorts of stuff. And the next day he was so antisocial. He was so tired, so sad, not in the mood to do anything. And his serotonin, dopamine were all gone. And he was just like, oh, this sucks. I really don't want to go anywhere. And I told him, I said, man, try this NuPep and alpha GPC. I brought it all there, and I knew I might be able to give it to somebody like that. And I gave it to him, and he tried it, and like 10 milligrams of this stuff, a little bit of alpha GPC, and I think aniracetam, but it might have just been NuPep. And he did that, and within about 15 minutes, he was totally back to normal. He couldn't believe it. He was just like, man, that worked. I just took that like 15 minutes ago, and now I'm totally back to normal. He was ready to run up to the stage, the music stage, and have more fun and play around, and he was totally back. And that's how powerful and how quickly it worked for him. And I've been through that, and I know, like, from my personal experience, it took me months and months and months sometimes to recover from some of the damage done through the use of some of those kind of chemicals. So you got to be mindful of that and very careful, especially when you're in an awakening stage. You want to be very, very respectful of your brain chemistry and your mind and body, and not overdo anything and never hurt yourself. And yeah, if you've been on SSRIs, like diagnosed with anything, thrown in a psych ward, and then now you're trying to get off all that stuff, like this is the key for you, in combination with NuPep and other things like that. While you're weaning off the SSRIs, it'll allow your neurochemistry to balance back a lot easier, a lot quicker than it may happen unless the divine wants to go in there and heal it for you. That's very well possible too, so you don't have to worry, yeah, there's a few others. There's aniracetam, A-N-A-R-I, acetam. Google it, you'll find it. NuPep, N-O-O-P-E-P-T, aniracetam. If you just type that on Google, even if you misspell it, it should find it. You'll find them all. If you look up one of them, you'll find the rest. Aniracetam. That one is by far the most powerful social and anxiety alleviating, social enhancing, I should say. And even NuPep is like that as well. NuPep has a very powerful way of allowing you to speak more clearly, think more clearly, recall things a little better overall. Your sensory perceptions go up from 10 to 1,000. You'll smell and see and hear things and taste things you may have never smelled, heard, and tasted after a week or so, or 3 days. You'll be like, whoa, I didn't notice that before. You'll be able to see everything at once, all at once. If your perception was only limited to like a small area in front of you, the rest was subconscious information thrown away, and you were only seeing like a small diameter in the lens of your ego's vision or your visual perception, you'll see everything all at once. You'll literally, you can look outside and look at the mountains, look at everything around you, and you'll see all of it all at once, and it's all coming in, and you're just like, oh my God, I've never seen that much information at once. It can kind of give you an idea how powerful the mind is, and how powerful the senses can be. So yeah, that's one cool thing about Nupet. It's not always that lovely, though. I found personally, it felt kind of a synthetic, felt metallic. I felt like this metal tinge kind of on everything, and I didn't like that too much. But I did like how it helped my memory. It was just interesting, and I liked how it helped repair certain things and enhance my nervous system. Every part of it really enhanced it. It really, really did. And I highly recommend you try that out yourself, just to see what works, especially if you've been on SSRIs or you are on or have been on any kind of nasty stimulants or chemical drugs of any kind. That can really help, along with 5-HTP. It'll replenish your serotonin and or dopamine, I'm not sure which. But yeah, so the other one is aniracetam. That one is mostly, I found it worked mostly for social situations. It really helped with third chakra problems, really helped with self-image issues, and it showed me that a lot of that stuff is all like, it's also chemically based. It's all of that. It's spiritual, it's etheric, it's energy, it's all of that is thought. But, you know, with these drugs, with the aniracetam, it repaired and it really took away all anxiety. It took away all social bumps and bruises and things, and it just threw them away, and it just made everything smoothed out, and it works like that amazingly well. And it can really help too if you've been on any kind of SSRIs and drugs or whatever. It goes through your brain. You can stack all of them together: piracetam, aniracetam, Nupet, alpha GPC, etc., coliracetam. You can do all of them at once and mix them together, and it'll just go through you, and it'll really repair and help enhance your mind, your brain. It can go through it and just fix things that you may not even have known were damaged by anything in the environment. Chemicals, toxins, free radicals, you name it. Aniracetam also was very helpful with like balancing the mood. It was very powerful. Like anybody who had any extreme social problems or any like really powerful depression or even schizophrenia or anything, like if they were on doses of aniracetam, if they could actually get that from a doctor, that would take away all their problems far better than any of the tranquilizers and the crap the medical industry likes to push at people and say this is medicine. You know, that's all greed-driven profit stuff. They're not interested in seeing people well often enough. They just want to see them drugged up so they can make more money and keep them coming back for more, and not really enhance or repair the damage. These drugs actually do that. They can really help with certain things like that. They can really go through you and balance your neurochemistry and things in a better way. Aniracetam's like that. That's the main thing. It really just helped with a lot of that, mood stabilizing and that. And the other one I tried was coliracetam. I bought a little bit. It's a very small dose. It's like 3 milligram dose. All the colors I saw were like enhanced and a little more pretty and a little more vibrant, and I didn't notice much else. It wasn't. Yeah, some people talk and say that it makes people more creative, more musical, more interested in coloring, drawing, doing things if they're artistic and that kind of thing. That might be so for some people. It certainly didn't hurt me. I enjoyed it. It was interesting experimenting with that. These are pretty much like you could say like the cutting edge of nervous system enhancements and things that you can get from modern technology and modern medicine and things like that. And they're actually non-harmful. They don't cause any long-term damage or problems. They are not like any of the pharmaceutical drugs you can get from a doctor or anything. You can't even get them there. You have to order them from other places. They're non-patentable. I think coliracetam may have been, it's like controlled by some Chinese company somewhere, I don't know. But yeah, like Nupet is a Russian-owned or create a drug, and that you can get, order it, and it's so cheap. It's hilarious. You know, like people going through all kinds of issues can be healed. And one of the main things that these can do is reverse Alzheimer's, dementia, memory problems for elderly people, particularly over the age of 60. Anybody who's going through that, if you know anyone and you want to help them out and they're willing to be helped and they want to change, you know, if you can get them some of these products, you can really help them make sure they don't ever have that or reverse it if they're in the process of it, etc. and they'll be amazed. I've heard wonder stories of people that age taking this stuff and changing their lives forever. And that's permanent. Usually when you're 60 and up, you do these things for a few months, you repair your brain, you reverse the Alzheimer's, and your brain is ready to go. And it's like cleaning out your car, like doing a service of your vehicle. You don't have to worry about it again for a long time. It goes through you and it cleans you right up. And I think prevention is the best thing too. So I mean, if you're getting up there in age, try these out, get them, and test them out for that. There's many uses. The other uses for if you're younger, you're not going to necessarily notice that your memory is like super powered or anything, but one thing you'll certainly find is that your capacity for concentrating and focusing is enhanced infinitely, especially with new peps. You could sit there doing algebra for 12 hours straight and you will never get fatigued even for a second. You might be physically tired. You might get okay, maybe I got to get some fresh air or something like that. Get out and move or whatever. But, you won't have to take a break if you're cramming for tests, if you're in school, if you're doing things like that. Yeah, or reading, whatever. You can really focus on stuff and you can really get things done without being mentally fatigued. You can just keep going, and it will help your memory a little bit, but it's typically not going to turn you from like a average dude into an Einstein or something like that in every way. But certainly it will go through your neurochemistry and just like revamp everything and help whatever problems may have been to go away to a certain degree anyway. And I recommend that. I think that's it for those. There's only one other drug I highly recommend people look into if they're feeling, like super depressed, like extremely depressed, or like they have bipolar, or if they're feeling suicidal and they want to hurt themselves or others or whatever, and they're really going through these mood swings. They have very little control. They feel over their mind and emotion. These can help in the most difficult situations. And it's a cousin or sister to lithium chloride, I think. Is that what they call it in the medical industry? The typical lithium you get prescribed by a doctor, which is actually amazingly expensive if you're paying for it yourself, if the government's not covering it or whatever, medical isn't covering it. But yeah, if you look into lithium orotate, it's a natural alternative that is non-patented. It's not controlled by big governments and corporations. It's not expensive either. You can get like a month's supply for like $8. You can order it on iHerb.com and get it shipped anywhere in the world for pretty much free. iHerb is an amazing website for vitamins and nutrients and all kinds of stuff. And lithium orotate, I've tried it, and I found that it did help me to maintain a more stable mood. But I did also notice I felt a little dopey. I felt a little bit like I was not as free to express myself and be as open as I was. I could tell it was kind of containing me in this bubble to a certain degree, and I didn't really like that feeling excessively, but I didn't bother me either that much at all. Like, it wasn't like it bothered me either. I was just like, wow. Bear or something crawling around over there. So yeah, this lithium orotate, it's a natural alternative. It doesn't have any of the negative side effects as lithium does. It doesn't cause damage long term or otherwise. It's a natural alternative. It's a very healthy thing. It doesn't cause problems for most people. I don't think at all, really. It does change the way your body uses water and the way your salt in your body uses water. But this can really help people in the worst case scenarios, or if you know anyone who's on lithium or anything like that, and you're like, well, I'm not sure if we're ready to get off everything all at once or whatever, or you'd rather them be on something safer, you can transition from lithium chloride or whatever it's called to lithium orotate for almost nothing. It's like so cheap, it's crazy. So you can use that. It can really take the edge off if you're suicidal, if you're super depressed, if you're going through extreme manic depressive like bipolar fits where you're going up and down, or whatever. This can help really balance that out in a very safe way. And I don't see anything wrong with that. If it's natural, if it's healthy for you, you could try it out. And the divine, talk to it and see what it thinks and find what you think inside of you works. And you will figure that out. Do the research, look it up. There's a lot of propaganda and BS out there, a lot of fear mongering and all this stuff designed to try to scare people away from natural, healthy alternatives. So just be mindful of that and try to find the stuff that seems right to you. I've tried it. I know it works, and I've done it, and it's safe. And you can figure it out too just by looking it up online. So yeah, I think that's everything. I really, 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 really hope you keep this information and really look into it and consider doing this and finding a way to get these things. If you feel like it could help you in any way, and if you're already healthy and happy, then that's awesome, and I'm so grateful for that. If you want to even enhance, if you're already happy and well, and you're just like, well, you know what, I'm actually having a great time, my life's great, beautiful, well, yeah, if you want it to even be more beautiful, if you want to feel 110% instead of 100, well, this can do that for you, and I recommend you check them out. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, I wish you much love and many blessings, and I'll see you soon.